First, a big welcome to Erica Rose, who's just taken a class for us at Belconnen Arts Centre as part of our Dance for People with Parkinson's. And Erica, I just thought we'd take this opportunity while you're here and you bring your wealth of knowledge and experience and passion to ask you a few questions which might also help our understanding of what the program's all about. So could you perhaps share with us, how did the program start? What was the driving force behind it? What was that philosophy that got the program up and happening?
First of all, I'm so pleased to be here, and it's such a beautiful location. It's been a joy. The program first started in about 2000, before 2001, but was really inspired by Oli Westheimer, who is the leader of the Brooklyn Parkinson support group. And she was really looking for activities that were different for her support group to be involved in. And through a series of connections, she thought dance would be a really good thing for the people in her class to try out. And so at about the same time, the Mark Morris Dance Company, which is a renowned contemporary dance company, had just built a brand new building in Brooklyn. And it was this beautiful building. It had expressed an interest in wanting to do more community programs. So she approached the Mark Morris Dance Company and they said, okay, we're interested, but we don't know anything about Parkinson's. And she said, that's okay, let's give this a go. And so together they started working on building the classes for the Parkinson support group. So it was really from the beginning was a Parkinson support group and a professional dance company that came together to make the classes go ahead. And it has since grown. It expanded the number of classes that are offered in the States and now internationally, and even here in Australia. There's increasing amounts of research that are being done on the program as well, but the philosophy is really about providing a high-quality dance class experience with musicality and a joyful way of bringing people together, led by a professional dancer for the Parkinson's community. And that the idea is it's a dance class. It's taught by dancers, and it's sort of aimed that way, and it's not a therapeutic class. So it really is about the training of the dancer.
And could you perhaps speak about the benefits of dance for people with Parkinson's, and what specific benefits come out of engaging in the activity?
Well, one of the things that is this interesting thing is that Parkinson's and dance activities have a lot of similarities in what people are working on. So things like balance, flexibility, coordination, focus. These are all things that a professional dancer has to work on a daily basis as far as part of his or her training. And so in bringing that into working with people who have Parkinson's, these are also concerns, things that people are working on to address when sort of addressing concerns of Parkinson's disease. So the benefits overall, there are many wonderful stories that have been told about the benefits of the class. One of the people in my first classes in Marin, and she would say, oh, well, I put these things up on a shelf and I can't really reach them, but in dance class we're doing all these like reaching movements, and so as I reach up, I can reach this, whatever she put on the higher shelf. Or someone else says, this lovely couple would come to our class, and just such powerful moments of dancing together and connecting, and then sharing afterwards that this is the first time we've actually been able to be together in a long time and not be thinking about and just be dancing and being together, enjoying each other's company and having fun together. So there's a lot of social benefits and aspects of quality of life, but there's been more and more research that is coming out about some of the medical benefits that are measurable as far as in relation to Parkinson's disease.
And are you seeing the program evolve in other parts of the world? Has it extended significantly beyond the US at this stage?
Yes, it has. So there are over 100 active classes now throughout the world. And one of the wonderful things about the class is that it can be, the basic model of the class is starts seated and then progresses to standing and moving across the floor, but it really can be done with multiple forms of technique. So in India, it's done using classical Indian dance, movements and music. If the dance teacher is a professional tap dancer, then there's a lot of tap movement and music that's incorporated. So it really is based on the skill and love of both the community and the teacher who's leading the class. And so we're expanding worldwide. There are classes now in 9 countries. We've made it. We're the 9th country because we're here in Australia. And I've been working while I've been here in Australia to launch classes in Australia. And I was lucky enough to meet you through one of our teacher trainings that we did in Sydney. With the goal of really equipping people in the local communities to take this on and offer it if there are people who are interested.
Sure, and that probably leads to my next question. For dance practitioners, regardless of their dance genre, how can they access the skills and knowledge and expertise to develop dance for people with Parkinson's as part of their delivery?
Great. So the program is the Mark Morris Dance Company offers teacher training programs, and so David Leventhal, who's one of the program founders and program directors in New York and sort of internationally, he came out here in May and did a teacher training workshop in Sydney and then in Brisbane. So if people are interested in becoming in teaching classes, there's lots of information on the Dance4PD website, which is dance4pd.org, or we have a new Dance for Parkinson's Australia website, brand new, it's launching today. So danceforparkinsonsaustralia.org. So the best thing for a local teacher to do is to contact one of the people in his or her communities and go and participate in a class. Because we don't have people come and watch, you have to always participate and see if it's something that they're interested in. And then contact me or the local contact as far as more information and if there will be a possibility of doing future trainings, which it looks like that there will be at some point in the future.
And can you perhaps tell us a little bit about your personal involvement with this whole extraordinary development of the dance industry? How did you connect in with it, and what got you to this point in your dance career?
Well, I started as a professional ballet dancer, and then have progressed to do more contemporary work, and have run a small contemporary dance company, and have been more involved in a lot of community dance work. And when I was living in San Francisco, one of the studios that I had an affiliation with was a hub for Dance for Parkinson's class. They were sort of the second major center of Dance for Parkinson's, and so I was able to see and experience some of the classes. And someone in my local community, I actually always thought, oh, I can go and be trained and be a teacher and do it in this program, but someone came to me and said, I really want to start a class and I think we should do it together. And so I said, okay. So I started by working with David and the Dance for Parkinson's program to launch another program in Marin County. And then when I moved to Australia, there was an interest in developing programs here, and because there hadn't been any trained teachers up until that point, they hadn't been able to start anything, even though that there was a lot of interest. And so have slowly been talking to lots of support groups and wonderful members of the community who have been able to step forward and support in different ways, and then connected and presented at the National Parkinson's Conference last year. So slowly, in a sort of a grassroots activism aspect, that's how we've been building the program.
And perhaps last 2 questions. What are the most significant challenges you perhaps see the program facing, and then what are the highlights, the most memorable star-popping moments that you recall from the program?
Well, some of the challenges I think are building knowledge or sort of experience, because I think that dance sometimes carries a meaning for certain people, that in the sense of, oh, I can't do that, or I have to be trained to do that, or I have to do it with a partner, or those kinds of things. And so being able to share with people that there's different ways to enjoy dance is something I enjoy, but also takes time. So that's just sort of an ongoing challenge. Also, finding that right partnership between the Parkinson's community and the dance community, and a way to fund and support that. So the model from the Parkinson's Dance4PD program in New York is that classes are offered free to participants. And like here at the BAC Arts Center, I know that through the work of people like Jan and Philip together, that is really the ideal partnership, where arts and the Parkinson support group and funding are able to come together to offer these classes to participants at no charge. So we hope to continue to build that across Australia. And highlights. Let's see, I have lots of highlights. I think, well, a recent one, so one that happened before was, there's a lovely gentleman in one of my classes in Marin, and he would have trouble coming into class. There would be a ramp coming into class, and he would get a little bit stuck sometimes coming into the class. So I would always go and meet him, and we would usually sing the Blue Danube, and we would make it up the ramp together. I won't torture you with my singing, but it worked. We would sing it together and then get into class. And he was somebody who had never taken dance before, but always was very dapper and showed up and made sure that he sort of was there for classes, and just always left with a smile. And for me, by the end of class, he was moving freer and sort of more upright, and that is always something I think of as a highlight. And then a recent highlight, I was speaking in Noosa, and we did a little bit of dance, and then I was talking to. We did a little bit of dance, but I was talking to two gentlemen, and they, even though we only did a little smidge of dance, that was enough to connect them, and they were able to start having a whole conversation around their sort of how they're living with Parkinson's, and all of a sudden this sort of networking opportunities sprung up, and just to see the ways in which dance activates, like in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom as a way to connect.